Okay, it seems to work. So, we are finally live. Thank you everyone for waiting for us for a little bit. And welcome to our garden, to the garden of Femme Occulte. And today, me, Belladonna, I'm here with Datura again, and we will be chatting about Imbolc, the upcoming Sabbath, but now it was the weekend, so maybe some of us already celebrated. And then also, if we will have a little bit more time, about telepathy. And if my baby will allow us to have so much time, we shall see. If not, there might be a little break, then I would put on the break screen, so stay tuned. And of course, if you will have any questions meanwhile, just let us know in the chat room and we will try to answer them as soon as possible. On the beginning, I would also like to thank to everyone who followed us since our last stream. We have some new followers here, so welcome. And yeah, we can slowly start, but I can see that Datura is a bit frozen, so maybe the technical difficulties are continuing, which is not very pleasant. So let's start with a bit different way than straight away with the topic. Are you already after celebrating Imbolc, or are you going to celebrate Imbolc? What are your plans? Text us in chat room. And yeah, now it's moving. The picture is moving. That dress moving. All good. Yeah, hopefully it will be all right. Okay, so we are here. We can start. Oh yeah, John is texting us already that he celebrated already on full moon. That was, I believe, on 28th of January. I was actually planning to celebrate my Imbolc as well in that time, but it was horrible weather, so I was waiting till Saturday. I was celebrating yesterday 2 different ways, alone and with an online coven. And we will get to that part probably later on. Okay, so on the very beginning, Imbolc is the upcoming Sabbath, and we were writing about it in our book in our previous year. This year we are writing the Sabbaths in a bit different way. Okay. Yeah, superb. So we might be able to start now. Can you hear us? Yay, super, yeah. Claritauba, I hope I read it correctly, says yay. Okay. Well, yeah, so where were we? Just on the very beginning. I was actually hoping to ask you on the beginning before we will start the call, but then all the technical stuff was happening, so I didn't. I just wanted to ask you if we want to briefly introduce Femme Occulte again in this stream, or if we will just jump
I think
in.
it's not necessary because
Yeah.
the old stream is still live and all the information is there, so I think we can jump into it.
Yeah. Okay. And then I had one more question that we are going to try to cover those 2 topics, as I already mentioned. So there might be a small break in between them, if it's okay with you as well.
Oh, it's fine with me, absolutely.
Okay. And I have a big question. Will you show us the Abramelin oils? Just a little bit when they are bottled,
At the moment, it looks like this. They still don't have any labels because all the labels are here, and I have to bottle them into these small bottles and then stop them with these
they have
lovely stoppers.
They have the pipette, or
yes.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yes.
I can't wait. I can't wait.
The rest of it
wow.
that I have
How
to
long
bottle.
did it take? How long does it have to kind of ferment?
I macerated it for over 2 months.
Okay. So yeah, wow, that's quite a long time.
Yeah, I macerated it for over 2 months. The oils are not going to be consecrated for me because I expect that everybody will want to make their own consecration afterwards. They will be cleansed, but not really consecrated for use because each of the uses for everybody will be different. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I just can't wait when it's here.
It smells very sweet, very, very lovely.
Yeah, okay. So that's what is going on in Datura's workshop today, that she's bottling the abramelin oil for our ritual packages. And that one you can definitely use for your rituals, for consecrating things and so on. And for the maybe even for the rituals that are coming together in the time of early spring and spring, even though we are writing a little bit rather about cleansing rituals for the first spring-ish rituals for this year. Okay, so Imbolc. Yeah. Can we
Yes.
dive in Imbolc? Meanwhile, Adele was texting us that she haven't celebrated yet, and she says, "Don't know if I will. Full moon sucked out all of my energy." Yeah, that happens sometime, especially when the full moon is looking through the window right at you. Even through the cartoons. I just have this experience that, yeah, when there's this huge yellow eye on the sky, then the next day is not really that well working. Anyway, when the Sabbath is connected to the Esbat as well, it can be very nice for celebration. There are those two different energies connected together, even though sometimes it's for good, sometimes it can be slightly contradictory. Yeah, so as I said already, as I mentioned, we were writing about Imbolc last year, so you can find the information in our Liber Magicae I. Adele can text us if she enjoys it, because I know that she owns a copy. She was just texting me about a week ago, or she was tagging us on her Instagram, which you can of course do as well if you have the book already. And I wanted to just show you one of my comics that is connected to Imbolc, just so you have some kind of overview, that there's not only plain text and beautiful photos by Datura, but there's always also this kind of comics for like do-it-yourself, either ritual itself or some tool that you can use during the ritual. Yeah, and during that time, I was writing about the thunder candle, and so Imbolc is quite connected to candles. So now I will slowly, like, finally get to you and your approach to Imbolc, because I was actually thinking, I'm just talking so much today. And yesterday I was as well. I was yesterday on ritual, and I was like, and I had so much to say. I'd say it was because of I was before that on Utiseta, which is like a very, very calm practice in the nature, and I just charged up totally. And since then I'm talking and talking. But I know that our views on Sabbath and Sabbats and the Wheel of the Year is quite different. So I'm quite excited to hear from you. How do you approach Imbolc or Sabbats in general?
Well, my approach to Imbolc is not very exciting. I'm actually I try to get into celebrating the Sabbats in general, but I never actually got into actually doing it. So I'm not celebrating Imbolc tomorrow. For me, I I must say that I quite resonate with the old path, which we will be writing, or we are writing about this year, because it's less about a specific date, but it's more about a season. And for me, the season around Imbolc and like before spring, pre-spring, is very much about cleansing. And you even know that even last week I already had the feeling of fullness and of having like too much, and the need of to let go and get stuff out of the house, to clean, to cleanse, to solve, to finish, and to be able to start new things as well, which I think is very much connected also to some of the Imbolc correspondences, and to releasing the winter and releasing like the dead part of the year, or like the dead parts of your life, and getting ready for a new cycle, for new projects, for new growth. So I'm very ready for that.
Yeah, and in my practice, I have that one day that just like marks it, and from tomorrow, everything will just be sunshine and flowers.
Oh, that's very enviable. I would like to have it like that.
Yeah, the winter was, I would say, a bit tough on plenty of people. I've heard from many sides, from plenty of magicians and creators, that they were undergoing quite a heavy. They say this was like quite a heavy time. I think that's also connected to the worldwide situation and so on. Adele, though, is writing a really cheering comment that your book is definitely great guide for everyone. Oh yeah, I love your book. So many goodies in it. Thank you. Thanks for this.
Thank you. That's so sweet.
Yeah, for this lovely feedback. We are really happy every time when we hear that that the book is really fulfilling your wishes and expectations, and that it really brings you joy and new information and inspiration for your practice, as well as not only in the sabbatical way, not only in the Wheel of the Year about which we are talking now, but also through all the other parts that the book has. So anyway, so far I haven't read in our chat from anyone how was your celebration like. If you, for example, if you tried the thunder candle, if you ever made something like that, just let us know in the comments. We will be happy for that. Yeah. And we can just go through some questions that I have here prepared for the stream connected to the Imbolc. We probably covered plenty of them already, which is what are our plans, what are your plans, if you already celebrated, and how was it? How was it? John, how was your celebration? Did you sleep well on the full moon, or was it for you like for Adele? And we have here another people in the chat room, so don't hesitate to drop a comment and talk to us. And then what does this time of the year mean for us and for you? I must say that for me, this year was a bit different because of since we are not going through the Wheel of the Year in Femme Occulte, but we are going through the Oath Path. We also moved the production a little bit. Like it's like 1 month differently than last year. So I can't really compare the years. And as well, last year, our baby was born, so that was completely different year than it is now. That was a completely different kind of energy and concentration. But yeah, would you, Datura, try to compare a little bit this spring issue making to the first spring issue making?
That's a heavy question. Yes, I can. I think in terms of the content, there is quite a heavy difference. The first issue, the first spring issue, was very light, very. I said it in the last stream. I think very airy, very ungrounded in a way, because we still had a lot of swirling ideas over the production, and now over the last year we had the time to actually plan ahead. Even some articles are planned 2-3 years ahead. So now it already comes to a more grounded series of our articles, chapters, and knowledge that are actually building up on something, where the first issue was very untethered, or like unbound to previous, not to future, because we already started building up in the next issues upon the first issue, but it was still very hanging up in the air, and now it's very much grimoire-y, I think.
Yeah.
It's getting.
Yeah, I will answer to your talk in a second, but John Gord is texting us, so I will read his comment first. I sleep well every full moon. Well, a lucky person among us. And yes, my celebration was amazing. I was charging my divination tools, Ogam, and new cards. Yeah, I saw your new cards on your Instagram. They look quite cool. And I was actually undergoing also a ritual which was connected to the ritual tools, but about it maybe at some other time or later. And yeah, what did I want to say? Yeah, well, I believe that the very first issue that was coming out 1st of January 2020, that one was also a bit dreamy. Maybe we had we still had more ideas than a real idea what is going on and what is going and it was quite introductory. Yeah, there was a lot of introductions, which were, of course, necessary to start off. And this year we chose a bit more, let's say, deeper topics. We are going deeper in the herbal, for example, in the herbal area, in the plant area, but also the new topics, I guess, are slightly building up on the first year, even though they are not totally connected. In my case, it's, for example, last year I was writing about like ecological way of practicing, and this year I'm writing about hedge witchcraft, and it is quite connected to the natural magic as well, and to the ecological thinking about your practice and choosing tools and this kind of stuff. Claritauba is texting us, or I think I will just shorten it to Clarita. I think that will sound better from me, because if I'm butchering the name, I would really feel embarrassed. So she says, I usually have headaches after full moon nights. Yeah, well, that can happen quite easily if there's too much light for you. Oh, yeah, she's happy with Clarita. That's very nice. That's very kind of you. Thank you. And Adele writes, must agree with Datra. I think last year was more airy and beginning of this year is more earthy, in my opinion. Yeah, in not only in the quarterly booklets, but maybe also in like a general kind of energy. I think that the start of this year was quite dark, if we can open this topic. That I'd say that some hopes were just not fulfilled for worldwide, for many people, that we just thought that 2020 will end and all this stuff will end, and it just slightly continues with us. But hopefully it will be all better. Text us in the chat room if you are also doing your rituals, for example, focusing on these things, if you are focusing on like better health or maintaining your health and your mental health as well, of course. And how is Imbolc connected to it? Because for me, Imbolc is quite a shadowy time indeed, quite a dark night of the soul, slightly time, even though it should be more connected either already to Samhain, where we are talking about connection to the spirits and also to our personal shadows, and like going basically happily ready to that kind of inner work. And Yule, which is the longest night in a year, could be that dark night for our souls as well. But for me personally, it's quite often the Imbolc time that it's not that bright, even though now, since I have a baby connected or born close to Imbolc, it's of course a bit different for me now. Now it's like cheerful time as well. But in general, what do you think?
In general, is it to me the question?
Yeah. To everyone, to you and to the chat as well.
I must agree, because I think the difference between Yule and the actual longest night of the year and Imbolc is the fact that when Yule comes, it's still very early into the beginning of winter. People still have enough energy from Indian summers and the warm weather. It's still not very dark, in a not in a sense of light and shadow, but in the hopelessness of winter.
Mhm.
I think in at the end of January you get to experience the lack of vitamin D and the lack of sunlight, the very cold weather. We usually get a lot of snow as well, and the times change. Even though maybe the days are getting longer
Mhm.
every day, it is still very in Czech it's anutěšeně, neutěšeně.
Yeah.
And in English, I don't know how to even.
Unpleasing, unfulfilling. No.
No, it's like not seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, because you're so deep into the
Yeah.
wintry stuff that you're ready for it to just change already
Yeah.
and begin anew.
Yeah, and it's exhausting, I'd say. Even though it's
Oh,
not
it
the
is.
translation of that word. Yeah. Yeah. Adele is texting definitely Bella. Everybody hoped for this crap to end. Not gonna happen, obviously. Well, yeah, we can just laugh on it and enjoy that we can at least meet up on Meet or this way online. And that we can have some connections this way. Actually, right yesterday, after the online Sabbath that I underwent, we were chatting exactly about the situation and about these thoughts on it. Basically, exactly these kind of topics that we are opening here now. And I mentioned, tell me if it's your experience as well, both you, Datura, and people in the chat. I mentioned that I believe that now we are a little bit more open online, that we are more meeting up online, and maybe some of us are even meeting more people, even though it's online, because of you basically don't spend any time on preparing yourself, getting to the place on the journey. And I also see that people are starting to be a little bit more open online, that even online you say things to your friends in the closed groups and closed chats that you would normally hesitate to say in person, and only if you would be meeting that person, let's say every 2 weeks, then you would share this kind of information. I think that we are slowly opening ourselves through the online space. It's painful that we can't hug each other, of course, but in the same time, I find several of my friends and close people that they are starting to be more in touch with me, since I live separately from most of my friends because of I live in different country than is my native tongue. But yeah, in this way, I would say. Maybe you would want to say something to it, but I will read the chat first if it's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
So John is texting. Imbolc for me is time of hope and rebirth. I focus every year on my mental health. It's time when everything start to change, like Kailach and Bridget. Yeah, Kailach, the winter hug, is slowly leaving, and Bridget, the fiery lady, is coming to warm us up a little bit. Yeah, I would say that since last year, I also started to feel in Imbolc a little bit more hope. Before that, I was always knowing that between Imbolc and Ostara, that will be the toughest time for me and my mental health. Yeah. Alex, C-Hex Adele, our Adele, says, yeah, it's very dark and heavy in the air. Winter is still deeply here, even when energies are changing. Yeah, I think that I totally agree with John that it's good to focus on our mental health and somehow kind of draw the hope for that the days are really slowly, even though it's slowly, starting to be brighter. I was celebrating yesterday through the technique called Utiseta, as I mentioned on the very beginning. And during this technique, I'm slightly writing about it in our Liber Magicae as well, just mentioning it. But during this technique, you are basically just sitting in the nature and attuning to it and aligning with the place and just like rooting yourself to it and listening and feeling and everything, the place. And it's your place in the space in the universe in that time. And that helped me really, really a lot. I think I was thinking, okay, yeah, well, I had prepared like 5 topics that I will have to go through my head and to like really cheer up my mental health and sort some things that I want to have sorted as like that cleansing ritual and so on. And I actually came to the place, I sat down, and suddenly there was just nothing to think about. There was just like meditation. There was just like connection to the nature, and that really worked for me quite a lot, even though it wasn't any kind of complex or complicated ritual. So I can definitely recommend it, even though it feels like that it's quite cold weather. When you take warm clothes and when you take hot tea in the bottle with you, it can definitely be recommended from my side to celebrate this way and to take care about your mental health by just switching off, actually, really. Yeah. Okay, so I will just check what other questions do I have here to Imbolc. Here we have what celebrations are to come, and we were already talking about it, that from the old path it's early spring and spring. Those are coming in the spring issue, and I just got here some messages. Yeah, okay, it's connected to Femme Occulte, but not connected to our stream. Okay, and I have here one more note connected to Imbolc. Of course, tomorrow is starting the new month as well, not only coming the new Sabbath. So you will see a post of a new monthly reading from our Stromocculum on our Instagram. So you can check that out. And you can text us definitely either under this video or under that post that we will post tomorrow. Is it tomorrow? Yeah, tomorrow on our Instagram.
Whoa. Tomorrow is a video. Tomorrow is not
Okay.
reading. The reading is on the 5th. The reading is on the 5th.
Okay, my apologies. So on the 5th, just in a few days, just in a couple of days, I just couldn't wait for it, so I just thought it's tomorrow. I knew that there's a video, but I just thought that they are somehow coming together.
Yeah, you scared me for a minute. I'm sorry.
Just to introduce you to this, what is actually happening now between us is that I'm always like so looking forward to everything. And Datura here is actually taking care about our Instagram grid. So this one is on her scheduling, not on mine. I'm the stories.
Yeah. So.
Anyway,
in 5 days.
Yeah, in 5 days. Anyway, there you can definitely text us if you remember the previous reading. How was it matching your month? I definitely would like to do some kind of reflection and this kind of stuff. I noted all those readings to my Book of Shadows, so I will be definitely checking it up with my time with my months, but I will gladly hear from you as well, because last year I was working with Stromocculum weekly with one card, and it was like quite surprising for me, because I did most of those readings actually already in the summer when Datura came with this amazing idea that we could do some readings. And when I made them, I didn't expect that they will be like. Sometimes I was like, this is slightly weird. This is odd. And then that week came, and girls were just like, oh yeah, okay, it's here, really, that's happening. And then I was super happy that I know that for the week connected to the Christmas, I believe that the card of love was picked, and then for the week of New Year's, it was friendship, and I was like, oh yeah, that's amazing. That's like, wow, it should be like this. And that made me really happy. So now I started with this different kind of readings for each month. And I'm really looking forward to check with my experience and also with your experience, guys, if it's matching. Also, text us if you already used Stromocculum in your practice. I know, again, that Adele has it at home already. And I know that John Gard is quite interested in Ogam. So if he heard about it or saw already the pictures, just let us know, what do you think about that? Well, yeah. How is it going with the Abramelin oil?
Very slowly but steadily. I think I'm already half done with bottling, and then I will start labeling.
And you will have the first labeled bottled thing. Can you show us, please?
I will do one. I will do one now then.
Thank you very much. Yeah, well, we can slowly maybe move to another topic that that we opened a little bit on the very end of last stream. If you don't need a break, I believe that by us at home is that the baby is quite happy, so we don't have to take a break and we can just continue. And closer.
Can you see it? I don't think this will focus automatically.
Well, it has our label as always.
No, No, I don't think so. It just wants to see my face.
It would be cool as earrings as well. Yeah.
For somebody else who doesn't have
well, you can
2
put it there
centimeter
this
tunnels.
Yeah, our technical and baby support is texting that everything is okay, so we can jump into another topic. And I believe, I hope that in this topic it won't be just me like and you bottling in the background. So
I will do my best.
I will do my best to let you to talk.
No, this is the second topic is actually a topic that I have more to say about than the traditional Imbolc celebration. So maybe.
Yeah, okay. Last thing that I will mention about the traditional Imbolc, you will find all the information and correspondences in the Liber Magicae and this year, so you can be looking forward to different kind of path. Adele is texting our Adele that is now called Alex, officially, because I always just see that X in the middle of the name and it always confuses me. So CX Adele is texting, I played with Stromocculum a bit, but haven't done any bigger readings. I want to work with cards and Ogham more during the year. I'm not very familiar with Ogham, so it's gonna be definitely study time for me. Yeah, it's definitely a different kind of different kind of cards than our other oracles or than our tarot cards and so on. Oh yeah, and and she's writing, I wanted to be Alex. You can call me that if you want, Bella. Okay. Okay, yeah. Well, so today I'm giving names to people. I already named Clarita, and now we have here Alex as well. Well, we shall see when we will get more followers and more people will join our chat. How many new names will I create? And if I will remember them to the next stream always, then they can test me. The people, if I still remember these. Okay, let's jump to the telepathy. So, to start a little bit broadly, I wrote for our spring issue an article on telepathy, like small telepathy experiment that I was undergoing with a few people during the last year. And I got a really interesting comment because of course, when we are reading each other's articles, we are commenting on grammar, stylistics, but also on like a fact checks and also on kind of like a gnosis checks. So we are texting each other, but sometimes there are some things that we don't really have time at that moment to get more deep into. And this was exactly the case because Datura was texting me after I wrote this that, well, wait a minute, maybe you get quite connected to these people this way and some weird stuff might happen afterwards. And from there, we didn't get to chat because the spring issue needed care on different kinds or on different tasks. But we have the space for it now and here, and I was looking forward to chat about that. So, would you remember me exactly what you were actually talking about?
I will spoil a part of the ending of the article, though.
Okay.
The article ends with like a wishful note of the group wishes to deepen their telepathical connection and perhaps be able to aid each other on distance in rituals and so on. And I'm not exactly sure how exactly that part sounded, but to me it reminded me of my old coven and the people I used to practice with. And we never had a wishful thinking of that sort. We never wanted to be that connected. But I'm like the warning kind of person, so my comment was like, are you sure you know what you're wishing for? That's not that much fun. I personally have no experience with telepathy, like in the classical definition sort of sense, but I have an experience with being very much connected to the people you practice with on a magical level or like energetically, but as well, I don't know, astrally. I don't know how to again explain it, because this is again my noses. I don't think it's anything that's been described to a very deep degree. But when we used to practice, if I can explain what I actually meant with that
Yeah.
comment, we first started our coven when we were 20-ish, so quite not quite new to practice in general, but for sure very new to practice together. And uh, it wasn't a coven that had a heritage or that had any tradition. It was just like, I think it was 5 girls who just wanted to do magic together, because at some point in our lives in the 90s we've seen the craft. And we wanted to share our practice with somebody and be able to, I don't know, share experiences and ask questions and then just be together. And we used to go on Valpurgis night to have like coven rituals in the woods. And we started our coven with a ritual, basically asking to connect our energies and then to like always be connected and be like together. And what we didn't know at that time is that we would actually like get connected. And because 2 of those girls are to this day my best friends, so we're still kind of connected. The rest of the coven fell off, but we used to have experiences like when one of us was dealing with an entity that was of some sort, and the other one didn't have their defenses very much ready, as much as the person who was actually dealing with the entity. The entity would then go through other people to get at somebody else, for example. So my friend had a disagreement with an entity, and my boiler got shot to pieces. Or we used to have dreams that would the
Ay. No, not now. Ay. Okay, so Datura got frozen. I hope that you at least hear me and that you will join us back and tell us the rest of this beautiful story, about which I was super excited, because this is exactly what we don't have enough time to talk about during correcting the articles. And I was just Zach gaming our tech support is so supportive, and Dex
belong to
that the
somebody else.
picture
You know
is
the
kind of
way you
funny.
did.
Okay.
Am I here? I think
Yes.
I'm getting too close to spilling coven secrets and I get disconnected. No, but in regards to dreams, I don't think that's a coven secret. You know how your dreams are when the way you dream. And when you get a dream that's very different, you also know the way your coven members dream, because you tell each other your dreams and you help interpret. And we sometimes used to get dreams that were meant for somebody else, and we knew exactly who this dream was meant for, who it was a message for example. And am I again stuck?
No, all good,
Can you
all
hear
good.
me?
Yeah.
Okay, because your picture is stuck for me. Yeah, so this is just to start to explaining my comment and my words of warning.
Yeah, and I had quite a lot of time to think about it, over basically 2 months nearly, or a month and a half, maybe month. And yeah, I started to like expand this kind of question. I was asking myself, yeah, to what kind of level do I want to be connected to other people, not only in the Sunday group, with which was the telepathy experiment going on, but also with any other kind of coven or a witch group. Definitely text us in the coven if you have any kind of experience with either telepathy or any kind of like special or extreme extra connection in the coven that maybe went a little bit wrong or a little bit funny, and so on. Definitely let us know. We will gladly read it for the rest of the people who might be watching us afterwards from YouTube. And yeah, I was like quite thinking, and I've got to asking myself to what kind of extent are we actually connected to other people and in the coven, and how big borders are we are we supposed to make when we are in some kind of group, in the coven you're supposed to be quite open to each other, but in the same time you should have a little bit of borders maybe. And then I was also thinking, because of this group that I was going through the telepathy experiment with, was actually practicing already for about a year and a half, and then they invited me to join. And when I did, they had their kind of ways already, and those ways of course changed when I came in, but I could feel there this kind of like a difference of the energies. So how much is the group also changing when another person comes in, and how much are the energies influencing each other? Plus, of course, when we have different online groups or online chats where we are both working together, but we are also practicing on our own, especially nowadays in these times when loads of people are practicing together online and alone on their own, how much the solitary rituals are actually impacting the whole group. And then, since I'm practicing in 3 different online groups, how much are the groups actually impacting themselves while not knowing it about each other?
Well, the easy answer is they shouldn't.
They
They
shouldn't.
shouldn't.
There should be a filter.
They shouldn't. They should be impacting you to the degree that you allow them to impact you. But if you have 3 separate practicing groups, which are connected through a single practitioner, basically, and they have nothing else in common, then they shouldn't be connected. And if they get connected through that one practitioner, there is always a cause for concern of some sort. Either uh, the groups are not functioning very well, or the practitioner is not able to control themselves too well, and is extending their own influence to the degree where they're creating a circle. And that gets, I think that might get very volatile and very unstable uh, in the sense of practice, because when you do rituals and when you uh, I don't know, cast spells, you always want what you're doing and the result of it to be very specific and to be very exact. And once you mix more energies and you create chaos, things can change and they can become unpredictable and, well, in general, not work the way they're supposed to. And that can also happen with one group where the practitioners are connected, but each of them has their separate practice. And of course, it's a very nice idea to want to be able to help your friends in their personal practice. But then again, as long as or if you're not a very, very, very accomplished practitioner who knows exactly what they're doing in any kind of circumstance, I think it's not that good idea. I wouldn't. I'm sorry, my voice is going. I wouldn't call myself as experienced as to be confident to be able to help somebody without risking making things worse for them.
Yeah, without risking to kind of mix up the energies in a
Yeah,
wrong way.
yeah, yeah. Or bring elements that are undesirable.
Alex is texting. Never have been in a coven, but I had few experiences with my good friends and my mother. Often it happens that I'm thinking about her, or I'm thinking about writing her or calling her, and she messages me at that minute. Or my mother had a very difficult nightmare about me, and at the same time, she was writing me a message. I texted her if everything is okay, because I felt the urge to check up on her. That's rather towards the telepathy than to the coven practice, but yes, indeed. And I can tell that me with my mom, it's quite often quite similar, especially when I still lived in Czech Republic and it wasn't that long distance between us. Yeah, I believe that moms just have this kind of telepathical superpowers.
Oh, they do. My mom has it too. My mom has it too in regards to me and my sister, and that's, I think that's just a gift for
Mm,
from nature to mothers in general.
yeah, that moms are like natural telepaths to their
Yes.
maybe specifically daughters, but I would say that they are to everyone. But maybe us daughters, potential mothers, are having a better radio, better catch for it. So sometimes we also text first or let her know first. Anyway, if somebody would like to deepen their or try to experiment with telepathy, we are adding the Zener cards to the ritual packet, which is like a simple collection of 5 symbols, and you can practice, you can play with your friends, you can try to telepathize. Is it telepathize?
I think so.
To connect this way, but of course in some way that will not create any kind of chaos afterwards. That will not give you nightmares of someone else in your practice. Yeah, I have here another question from me that I was thinking about: how to protect yourself from receiving leftovers of others' energy work.
Well, you have to have shields, don't you?
Yeah, that's exactly that kind of question that I was also that I wanted to think about in the nature, and then I just like turned off, totally switched off there. Um, how to set up like the healthy kind of borders inside of the coven, and in the same time to be opened enough to maybe be opened emotionally or on like a human level, but to be closed enough in kind of like a aura astral level. What do you think?
Well, I think it begins with caring for your mental health first.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, you have to be mentally balanced to be able to set your own boundaries. Because I think the first shield or the first protections that you have are generally those of your psychical
Mm-hmm.
and mental, and just the relationship between you and the rest of the world, and then
Mm-hmm.
you build up on that. And as long as you keep sane
Mm-hmm.
and you keep taking care of your mental health, like John said, it's very easy to start building something that is healthy, because people tend to close up when they're unhappy, and people tend to open up too much when they are dealing with maybe some sort of problem. I'm generalizing
Mm-hmm.
now. I'm not trying to diagnose anybody, but as long as you keep your mental health in a certain healthy, I don't know, wavelength,
Mm-hmm.
then you can work on creating shields that do exactly what you need them to do. I think I wrote about it in one of the previous chapters last year
Mm-hmm.
about setting up basic shields, and
Yep.
then yeah, now I just like mixed myself up a little bit.
Yeah, I'm just checking for that article in our Liber Magicae. It's in the first in the first section, in the first part, which is called magical practice. I hope that in English it's also magical practice. I have the Czech version here
It
on
is.
me. Yeah. Anyway, I will just try to find those few illustrations that you asked me to make connected to this kind of shielding. I think they might be interesting, connected to this topic. Tell me if you can see. Oh yeah, yeah. Can you?
Your camera has been frozen for me for like the last 20 minutes on one frame, so I don't see anything.
Okay, never mind. So this is the kind of picture. There's like a yellow and blue lining of how the energies are spiraling around and how are they circling around the person, and how to work with them. So that could be like a basic kind of practice to start with. both solitary and if you are working with the coven. Since we are on this coven-ish topic, would you think, like more a general question, would you think that one should actually practice solitary for some time before they enter the coven?
I don't know. I'm not the authority to be able to say yes or no. I think it depends very much on the person, whether they
Mm-hmm.
are more geared towards solitary. I know I am.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people thrive in communities and thrive in a more rigorous system, or like in more traditional structured systems when knowledge is passed on or knowledge is shared. So I think it really depends on each and every individual.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is one of those things that everyone has simply different. Yeah, I
I
agree. And it
think as
also
long
depends.
as, yeah,
Yeah.
sorry.
And it also depends not only on the person, but also on the coven or on the group. If you are starting it out like you did with your friends and like I do with friends usually, or if you just join some already existing group, like I did with the Sunday group or so, that is also like a huge difference. And everyone can find themselves in something different. Thank you, John, for confirming that you can see the picture, and also thank you, Adele Alex, that you saw it in the book and that it looks interesting to her. That's very nice. Yeah, and I jumped to your word.
Well, I did jump to yours, but I just wanted to make an observation that there is a big
Mhm.
difference, to me at least, between practicing solitary and practicing in a very personalized or individual
Mhm.
way. What I mean is, if you practice solitary, a practice that has been described or tried by other authors or other sources, it's completely up to you whether you want to practice it alone or with somebody. But there is a big difference when you create your own practice
Mhm.
without actually having any background or any basics in something specific.
Mhm.
For example, you can be a solitary Wiccan, you can be a solitary ceremonial magician, but it's very hard to start being that without actually having the information or sources that come from other practitioners. I can very hardly imagine somebody being a ceremonial magician who hasn't had or hasn't read any books or uh, hasn't gained the knowledge from other people.
Mhm.
So the solitariness, I think, must be divided, or not divided, but distinguished between practicing alone and practicing without the input of anybody else.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I think anybody can practice alone, and it's up to the person whether they prefer practicing alone or in a group. But I think practicing with or by avoiding input from other people can be misleading or
Mhm.
can be too more difficult than it has to be, to put it very mildly.
Mhm. On one side, it might be more difficult than is necessary, because of you just can kind of like try things that other people already tried, by which you read or by which you chat. Also, from my point of view, it can just like you can just like get to some kind of spiraling towards something that is starting to be slightly insane when you just create your completely own gnosis. On the other hand, for example, William Blake, about whom I was writing for the Liber Magicae I, basically created his whole own system, and like it was working for him, and it was inspiring him on his path during writing the poems and during painting his pictures. So or his creations. So
Well,
it can go well,
yeah.
but it can be quite dangerous, indeed.
Uh, there is another similar example, and that's John Dee and Edward
Hmm.
Kelly,
Oh
who
yeah.
basically also came up with a completely whole new system, not really based on their noses, but based on scrying with entities. But again, it was a completely new system that, after a while, also got into their head, and
Hmm.
they were never able to actually practice it, and their legacy is basically of just creating it for other people who then had to take it and had to make a practice out of it, or make a functional system out of it, because those two never got to actually get it into a functioning state, which is something that I will be writing about in future
Cool.
times, maybe
In future
sometime.
times, this year or later. You don't have to promise.
Hopefully in the next issue, but
Oh, amazing. Yeah. I'm super looking forward
yeah.
to that. One more thing, if we may, and I believe that the Abramelin oils are slowly being finished and ready, so then we could slowly finish our stream. If you don't have any questions, surely text us questions into the chat room if you want to ask anything, or if you have any more comments to these topics. I was chatting about with several friends. Yeah.
Just a second. I will probably have to excuse myself in about 5 minutes because I will have food delivered because I need to eat. So if I run away quickly, then I just need to go pay for food.
Yeah, well, I'm getting quite hungry as well because I just came from the walk when we were starting the stream, so I didn't snack anything. So yeah, in a few minutes we will just leave you guys, and we will just have our dinners. Sorry. Even witches and magicians have to eat time to time.
It's true.
Not all of us, but most of us. We also enjoy it. This part of the human experience.
Yes. I'm still very far from eating prana, so.
Okay. Yeah, well, so shall I open another short topic, or will we slowly be finishing?
Well, you can open a short topic.
Yeah,
I will just need to excuse myself for a couple of minutes, then we can continue when
okay.
he calls.
So just one probably last idea that I had connected to the coven practice and group practice, and in general those those different groups online. Okay, Datura is laughing over the over the comment of my husband, who's just texting that there's no food left for me because of I'm streaming, and he ate it all with our little one probably. Okay, well, well, we all have our priorities. We'll just start to have the stream for you here, guys. Gladly, anytime. Okay, and oh yeah, we have here somebody who is just like it's just like sending us totally like message out of the space, some spam, but our tech support just supported us perfectly. Thank you very much. And Adele is getting hungry as well. Well, feel free, guys, to get your dinner and have a dinner with us while we will starve here.
Feel free to eat.
Chatting. No, we will just finish this one last idea that I have, since I was like, like putting it out, and then I will just say, okay, bye, I'm going to eat. Yeah. It's the question of like when you have any kind of like disagreements inside of the coven. That was another thing where I was again thinking about the borders, how you're like creating the borders, and there was on several platforms and in several kind of groups among people who can't even know each other. There was this question basically put out online quite often, mainly on Instagram to me, or it just appeared to me maybe because of I was starting to think about it. When you have some kind of like not energy disagreement or not energy transmission with people in the same group, but when you have some kind of disagreement on the way of practicing or on viewing the deities, for example, on how you approach them and so on, if it can actually work, and how to basically keep the group working or better leaving, where is that kind of border? Would you have any thoughts, you guys in the chat, to it, or yourself, Datura, who's frozen and probably is just picking up her food. If you
Now
can.
you stopped saying something.
Oh, okay. Okay, so Datura just disappeared like a ghost. That was actually quite a cool effect that, that the internet disconnection made. And okay. Oh yeah. So Datura is just texting that the connection was interrupted and that she's just picking up her food. Yeah. Well, anyway, I was also.
I'll be back in 2 minutes.
Okay, cool. I was thinking about this, like how much is it possible if people are basically devoted to different kinds of entities or have completely different worldview? Because quite long time ago, it might be maybe 13 years ago, I was actually practicing life with a group where everyone had some different kind of approach. Some of the people were working with Germanic pantheon, mainly for example, with Thor, as this kind of pagan deity. Some people were working with angels and demons. Some other people were working without these kind of energies and were rather focusing on some kind of archetypes inside of them. And the high priestess of this coven always said on the beginning, well, now here is the space to call what you want. And strangely enough, it actually worked and the entities didn't fight each other inside of the circle. And we had some kind of, always some kind of spellcraft that we were putting our energy to and our wishes and our thanks and so on. And it always worked. That was really, really interesting experience to me because of, in general, we would say that it's probably something that can't ever work, and that if you will call some archangel and with him you will call Thor, that they will just like not work together, not work well. But it did work. And then is the question when there are like different views on things and people just would like to approach their craft differently. How much can the how much can the coven actually stretch so it can still work as one group? And
I'm back, baby.
Super. I was just chitty-chatting here about my experience from rituals where, strangely enough, it was working even though people were calling in anything they wanted from their own practice. Yeah, for example, some people were working angels, demons, other people were working Germanic mythology, other people were working without entities at all. And when the high priestess said, now everyone call what you wish into the circle, it worked. It was the only group where I had this kind of experience. But yeah, I was saying that in general, I'd say that it's quite a deadly way how to how to work witchcraft or magic. What do you think? Was it too much information?
It was a little bit too much information, but yes and no. Yes and no. I guess it very much depends on the combination of egregores and entities you work with, and then it very much depends on the connection the people have to each other. Because, for example, me and my people, like my former coven, all of us worked with something different, and in general, our patronages did not. How to say it nicely, did not like each other very much.
Mm-hmm.
But they would tolerate each other because of our connection.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so it works, but it has to be very separate. I can't imagine calling my people and my friends' people or like entities to one circle and not expecting a big boom of some sort.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Satani, for following us. And our tech baby support is texting me that the tiny one starts to miss mama. So we will have to slowly close this stream and wrap it up. So we will probably have to leave you with a few philosophical questions, but hopefully we gave you also some food for thought, some stuff to think about the coven practice, about setting up your boundaries inside of the coven and outside of it as well, and about working with different entities and different views on the magic inside of the group and groups in which you are making rituals, performing spells, and so on. Yeah, so that would be from my side, and yeah.
Yes, and maybe before we disconnect, if you have ideas about what you would like us to talk about in the future, maybe let us know. We don't promise anything, but we will take it into
Definitely.
consideration.
Yeah. We will gladly look into your requests on what you would like us to chat about, and you can also text us this under our YouTube video that will be created from this stream, and that everyone can watch who maybe came a little bit later on our talk today. John is saying okay, bye and bon appetit. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We will enjoy the food, and I will enjoy cuddling with the little one again as always. So thank you very much for coming, and to coming to our garden of Femme Occulte, and planting some new ideas with us for our philosophical thinking. Alex writes, bye girls, enjoy. So yeah, you too.
Thank you. It reminded me very much of thank you for coming to our TED Talk.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
no.
Okay. Yeah. Well, so I'm finishing the stream, and see you again, guys. See you soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay.